Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekly market review for F45trading.com. Looking at October 7th to the 11th. Going to be a very interesting week. Going to pull up the economic calendar here quickly and run through that. Monday, fairly quiet. We have Fed Chair Powell speaking, and Fed Chair Powell is actually doing a lot of speaking this week. You'll notice him on Monday, late in the day, New York at 1 p.m. And then we've got, going into Tuesday, Fed Chair Powell speaking again at 1:50 p.m. So you can see 1, 2, and then he actually goes in on on Wednesday and speaks at 11 a.m. So he has 3 speeches this week. Fairly interesting. A number of other Fed Chair speakers as well too. And that's about it for Tuesday, other than some medium impact MPC, pound sterling, and core PPI news events for the US dollar. Going into Wednesday, we have Eurogroup meetings. This could get fairly splashy in the markets. Eurogroup basically goes through and looks at all the economic policies, of course, for all the Eurogroup member states, so keep an eye on that. That's going to be happening all day. They don't allow news reporters in there, so I don't imagine that it's going to be, you know, a news conference and it's going to fluctuate price or anything like that. But throughout the day, they could obviously, you know, start talking some information to the media. Once that gets out, it could jar prices around, so you definitely want to keep an eye on that one. We have crude oil inventories 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday, and then again, Fed Chair Powell speaking 11 a.m., and then we have FOMC meeting. So all in all, on Wednesday, we could have a bit of an extended run on Wednesday, again, mainly because of the FOMC meeting minutes coming in at 2 p.m. New York time. So we could see the high and the low of the day basically getting extended out on Wednesday just because of that news coming out. Going into Thursday, we have several high impact news events for pound. We have GDP, manufacturing productions, and then we have Bank of England Governor Carney speaking. So lots of landmines there for the cable. You definitely don't want to be trading that. And ECB monetary policy meeting minutes for the euro. That lands in at 7 a.m. New York time, and then we have high impact CPI and core CPI for the US dollar at 8:30 a.m. So Thursday is going to be a bit of a landmine, a few landmines in the road. So careful on Thursday if you are trading into Thursday. Ideally, I think because it is the going into the holiday this weekend, North America holiday, you can see down here we have Canadian and US dollar bank holidays because of well, Canada, it's Thanksgiving, and the U.S. is Columbus Day. And then the yen is obviously closed as well. The Japanese banks are all obviously closed as well, too. It's on Sunday, so just keep an eye on that. And then again, Friday, we have EcoFin meetings, very similar to Eco Group meetings. That's all day as well too. We have OPEC meetings all day on Friday as well, and Canadian dollar employment change and unemployment rate. So all in all, everything's good Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday starts to get a little bit dicey, and then Thursday, Friday, especially Thursday, they start to get a little bit crazy. So like I said, you probably want to have your trading done. Maybe treat it kind of like an FOMC week. Non-farm payroll week. Have all your trades Monday, Tuesday, and be done and out by Wednesday. Probably be the best, highest probability chance in the market. So that's the economic calendar for this week. Let's get into the charts. Talking about the U.S. dollar, and today I'm only going to review the U.S. dollar, the euro USD, the pound USD, or sorry, the GBP USD, Euro GBP, US CAD, and Australian dollar. And I might touch base on crude oil. But I'm going to try and make this a very short video for you guys today. Basically, long story short, on the US dollar, we failed to get above this high here last week. We ran that up into the non-farm payroll week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday gap down. We still really haven't closed that gap either on the daily. We wicked up into it and then failed to close up in that region. So definitely the US dollar's price is looking heavy. However, we are coming into some major area of support in here, right at 98.25 to 98.30. So be very careful of that. Now, if price goes into this area, I want to see a convincing push lower. And I really wouldn't be interested in taking any trades until price goes down to 98.05 thereabouts, and then we can look for runs on this low here and possibly this low to finish off the week. But I really want to see them convincingly get below this low if they are going to drop lower. So if this was a failure swing and they plan on coming up and then dropping lower and sweeping under these lows before they come back up again, that could be something that we're watching for. But I want to convincingly see this area in here that I have highlighted in green, which again comes in about 98.25, and once I see that broken, I'll be looking at this level here. If I see this broken, then we can look at getting into the markets, but I'd be very careful on that one because it could stab down into here, and everyone thinks, oh, this thing's going to fall over and it's going to take these lows under here, and it could reverse and go straight back the other way. And the reason why I'm looking at that is if you look at price in here, in this level right here, look how many times it did that. So they came up and rejected, came up, rejected, 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 and then they traded through it, came up here and hung onto this area for a very long time, and then finally rejected higher, and then it traded through and it held in. So that 98.25 to 98.30 level is a very significant level. Don't be surprised if we just kind of even sit in here and wick down into it a couple more times before price finally decides to do what it's going to do. But I'd like to see them come down into this level, reject, and then come and clean up this level in here. And if it does that, the EurUsD, I believe we could see them finally run out these highs up here at 110.25 that I've been looking at for a while. So on the I'm on the 4-hour chart right now. I think we're going to see a push higher into there. If we see a push higher up into 110.25, I think it'll probably run those highs there. Then we'll obviously see a dip lower, certainly into 98.25 on the US dollar. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Now, if price comes and trades lower than 109.60, and that's basically takes out these lows here and almost and the body lows from last Friday's trading, I wouldn't be interested in any long positions on EurUsD because it could come back down and maybe it might want to rebalance underneath this low under here. That could certainly be an area. However, I'm looking at this price declined quite rapidly. It came down once, twice, reversed in here, came up through, retested these old highs back in here, and had a nice quick expansion. Look at these. I'm on a 4-hour chart, and look at these two. That's 8 hours of just straight up price. And then this was obviously going into non-farm payroll on Friday, and they chopped price, but they came down once, twice, 3 times in here and failed to go any lower. So they could have come down and hit support in here and are starting to push off of that. And they're just building up some long positions in order to get above this high here. That's where I'd like to see price. I'm going to extend this out here. That's where I believe price is going to go this week. And I hope that they have some speed and determination to get up there early in the week, and not that they do a long drawn out buying and selling in here where they're up and down and then just slowly chopping it up. I'd like to see quick speed to get up there. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. Again, don't want to see price go down below 109.60. If we go down below 109.60, then I believe that there's a very good chance, like I say, this level down in here at 109.40 could get traded to. So, you could definitely possibly target that area there, but I wouldn't necessarily think right away that they'd be going back down for these lows here unless the US dollar decides to push up back into here. If they start doing that, if they bounce from here and get above this candle right there from last Thursday, then you can probably target the highs up here. And I'll put that right there. If that does happen, then again, the EurUsD will be falling over and will be going through this level in here. But I don't think that's too probable. I think more than likely what we're going to see is probably something more so like this, and then price will expand higher. Okay. GbpUsD, or the cable, a little bit more indecisive. We had some nice price structure in here where price was running up through the month of September. We just, and I mean just by about 4 pips, took out these highs in, sorry, let me just verify that. 125.82, and I believe the high came in at 125.79. I'm sorry, by 3 pips it took the high, and then rejected quite strongly, retested, and failure swing, and then we came and swooped down, swept underneath these lows here. And this low here from last Tuesday came in at 122.05, and this low here came in at 122.10. So it just came below this low here by 5 pips. Now that could be all that it needs to do. If price breaks again onto the downside, 122.75, then I believe I would be targeting below this low here, and right in this range right here, it would be my target for the week. If we manage to stay above 122.75, I'm going to drop down to the 4-hour. I believe my target would be right up about here, this high right here, which comes in at about 125.15. So that would be my target on the upside if, you know, again, we fail to go below this low here, and that's really that low right there. Now watch, they could come down and sweep. See, we got 2 relatively equal lows right there. They could come down, just sweep it briefly, and then run higher. I'm talking if we see a 4-hour candle close below 122.75, I'm of the opinion that we're probably going to go lower on the pound dollar, and we can trade accordingly. But if price stays above that level there, then I believe this could be the target. Now, will it run all the way up? I mean, that's about 200 pips away from current location. Will it get all the way up there this week? Again, I don't know. As you can see in here on the daily, we've really been chopping sideways, so it has to break this consolidation range in order for that to happen. I personally believe that the EurUsd is going to be the one that's going to move the best for this week. I could be wrong on that one, and keep in mind Brexit is just right around the corner, so the pound dollar could do some pretty funny things. So you definitely want to keep your stops relatively tight if you are going to trade it. Okay. Euro GBP, and this is one of the reasons why I don't believe the pound dollar is going to be going too much higher. I think they're going to be manipulating the euro a bit. I think we're going to see the pound dollar shoot up into this level up here, and it's going to run these 2 equal highs up in here, and I think it could stretch if it gets any momentum. You can see those 2 perfect equal highs right there. It could stretch all the way up into here. If it does that, it's going to give a lot of fuel to the EurUsd to move higher, or it's going to drop the cable. Now again, if this is the low, if this is as low as they're going to go, then they're going to continue to consolidate pound dollar, and then they're going to let EurUsd go higher. If, however, they want to drop the pound dollar and drop into here, because Euro GBP is going up, then I believe EurUsd will consolidate. So it's going to be one or the other. But ultimately, Euro GBP, I believe this week, I think we're going to be going higher, and I'm going to drop down to a 1-hour here. We could come down and run these lows here, but I'd like to see them stay above this low of that candle right there if possible. If price can stay above that low, we have a little bit of a gap starting into the week here. They did come down and just fill it right there, but if they come down and push into this gap one more time, I'd like them to stay above this high here. At the very least, I don't want to see them go any lower than here, and if they go lower than that, then they may want to come all the way back down into this little consolidation range again. So we'll see what happens. If that happens, then pound dollar will be going up, and EurUsd will probably consolidate. Okay, so just watch for that. Keep an eye on this pair. Very, very critical for those 2 cross pairs. Okay. I was going to talk about US CAD, and the only thing I'm going to talk about, I don't see anything on the horizon for US CAD that I really get too excited about, and it's really been, again, the past 2 months going straight sideways. We had a brief dip down in here, and then it just rallied back up and right back into this consolidation range in here. I'm not too excited about this rate in here. Just make this nice and easy for you to see. See that? Consolidate, 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 right within that box. And we just broke out of it, and then we came back into it again last week. Now, what I did mention last week was that we were going to see price finally shoot above up into this level here at 133.20, and you can go back to my last pre-recorded video last Sunday and see I have this level on the chart, and that's exactly what we did last week. We shot up above 133. We actually went to 133.24 on the day that it did that, and then just kind of went nowhere for the remainder of the week. But that's you know, mission accomplished right there. So hopefully some of you guys got that trade last week, and away we go. Okay, finally, Australian dollar. I believe we're going to see higher prices in Australian dollar. If the US dollar continues lower, then Australian dollar will continue higher. And if you look what's above Australian dollars, like we've got a bunch of relatively equal highs right here, and again, right up into here. So we could certainly see some movement. If you look at what happened, we had, I'm actually going to do this on a 4-hour. You can see price came all the way down, made that low, failed to go lower, failed to go lower, created two equal lows, big push higher, and then they sunk it and just grabbed these lows once, twice, and then rejected. So I kind of like that. That's a very, very bullish reversal pattern right there. So just keep an eye on that. I'd like to see them drop down into this level right here and then grab some support and reject and start to tick off these high here and high here. So that's what I'm looking for on Australian dollar going forward into this week. If price comes down into, you see this consolidation area right in here, if price comes back into this area here and goes lower than that, I'm not interested in anything going along on Australian dollar. Okay? And finally, last but not least, crude oil. Careful with this one. It's still a bit of a mess. I believe this week here we are going to run all of these lows. You see this? That low there, this low, that low, and then the low it created from last week. We could push up a little bit into here still. I wouldn't be surprised if we get up another dollar or so, maybe to 53.35, somewhere in around there. But I believe ultimately we're going to be pushing down, and price is going to get below this level here at 50.35. I think we'll probably hit even maybe 49.80, somewhere in there, in that range. I'm going to put that on the charts because I believe that is going to be the ultimate target for this week. I think we're going to see bearish crude oil right about there. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on there, and that's really all I have on crude oil. The market's a bit of a mess. Trade at your own risk. You know, there's OPEC meetings and crude oil numbers on Wednesday, OPEC meetings on I think it was Friday, so just be, or maybe it was Thursday, so just be cognizant of that, be careful, and watch crude oil. But I think we're going to continue downward on crude oil. If price, for whatever reason, decides to get higher than this level here, then you can pretty much put a pin in. Price will go down to 49.80. I can guarantee it. But if we get above this area in price this week, then they'll probably hold off coming down for these lows for another week or two yet. Seasonally speaking, crude oil is very bearish going into the final part of the year, so just keep that in mind. Okay. That's all I've got for the weekly review. I wish you guys all a great week, successful trading, and just keep in mind the economic calendar gets pretty crazy starting Wednesday and especially Thursday. So keep your trading light and get in and out early if you possibly can. And we'll catch up to you, the public, next Sunday for another weekly market review. Actually, I'm sorry, in North America where I live, we are observing holiday on Monday. So the markets are closed anyway, so I'll probably come in and do a weekly review probably the Monday evening going into Tuesday. So just heads up because of the long weekend. That'll delay me a little bit. And other than that, so our members, I will catch up to you guys via live market review going into Tuesday London Open. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.